Good morning, parents. We are in our second week of our last term of school, and I thought I would use this opportunity just to share a couple of things with you. Firstly, thank you for your support during the new timetable and timings for Ramadan. I know that it can be frustrating, fully aware of the implications that it can have on families with students who are in the various age groups. But if I can just ask you, please, to try your best to stick to those times. It is what has been approved by KHDA for us to have students, all of them on campus, 5 days a week. All right. This is not me just making up times as I wish. It had to be submitted and it had to be approved. In fact, I had many of our grade levels coming out at the same time or dropped off at the same time, and I was told to revise that by official bodies. So please, if I could just ask you to be patient. If it means sitting in your car for 10 minutes with the AC, because I am aware that it's getting hot, but getting frustrated with security guards or even me in the morning because you want to drop off half an hour earlier than your actual time, could I just please ask us, it is for the month of Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan, if we could just please try our best with that. For those who asked why we have shortened times, please note that that's a UAE government decision. It's not a DIA or an Interventions decision. It is a decision made by the government, and all schools had to abide by those rules. Right. Next up, we've had, I am aware that the NPS survey was sent out again to parents. We get that feedback per grade, per parent, to see exactly what feedback has been given from you, to see how best we can make changes or put something forward to the CEO if we can say, okay, this is where it is for most of our parents, areas of concern or something that they might need clarity on. So I wanted to just give feedback. Having gone through it all, there seemed to have been in some cases a similar theme popping up, and I just wanted to give you what I can share at this point in time. So I'm just going to have a look at my notes. Firstly, there have been a number of parents in the pre-K, KG1 and KG2 asking about more Arabic. Now, KG1 and KG2 students get one Arabic lesson a week, pre-K not at this point in time. And that is something that has been an interventions decision. All interventions schools have that as a rule. I will take that as a request to our CEO in our planning for next year. Just to keep in mind that the Ministry of Education, who regulates the Arabic in the UAE, says that Arabic starts from grade 1 onwards. I am aware that some of you are saying, obviously being Arab native speakers, you feel that your child might be losing out on that. And it is sometimes a bit of a tricky one, because we know that so many of the students starting with us in pre-K and KG1 and KG2, English is their second language. So we are wanting them to feel confident in their language of instruction, hence why they're not exposed to too many languages, so that they have got that. But I do understand your concern, and I will bring that to the table to see if anything can be done about that, and I will let you know. The second question that has come up is, why aren't we starting CCAs? Why aren't we doing CCAs? Other schools are doing CCAs. Now, I can't speak for other schools. All I can say is we have submitted and we have been denied for starting CCAs. Again, every school has an inspector that oversees the way that they operate. Each inspector has a couple of schools that they monitor, and I can only present what I have approval for. So we don't have approval for CCAs. And as previously mentioned, even just doing contact tracing, if a student in the grade 3 football team, for example, is tested positive, anybody from the other grade 3 classes who make up that football team would be impacted. And the teacher coaching that would then be impacted, which means one teacher would impact one whole class and a whole bunch of others as well. We do not have permission for CCAs. In fact, as recently as just before the spring break, I put a request in to have a rock expert, yes, a rock expert come and talk to our grade 2s. That person would have been, have had their PCR test. They would have only been in one class for 1 hour, having tested negative, no items being touched, etc., etc., etc. I submitted that to KHDA because we have to get approval for everything other than the teachers already who are on campus, and that was denied. So it's not that we don't want to do CCAs. Trust me, I would love nothing more than for the kids to get rid of some extra bountiful energy. And the teachers want to be outside and doing CCAs as well, because we ended off on such a high note with our CCAs. But we don't. It's not a DIA decision. You'll notice I'm hammering on this because I feel like we're almost being told, why aren't you doing it? But it's not that we don't want to, is I'm not allowed to. Same as for swimming. We do know no school has permission for swimming during school hours. Swim squads are allowed to come to our schools after school hours, and they can run their swim squad training. That's been approved by KHDA because it's academies. The same as with CCAs. You'll see our school field is being used for sports after school hours. But we may not have swimming because that involves kids then also be getting changed from their school clothes into the swim clothes. So that means another area that needs to be sanitized and kids gathering, etc. So it's all about limiting touch points and limiting the interaction. So as soon, it would be nothing nicer to swim during this heat, but we don't have the approval to do swimming. Library. So our library, we have our library books that can be taken out by the teacher and sent into the classroom for kids to make use of, and then it needs to be sanitized before it can be used by someone else. But there are no opportunity to go into the library, select books and take away. We do not have approval for that. Then my next thing is, there were some comments about communication. Well, I will say not some, it was only maybe just a handful of saying that we don't send communication out from the primary school. Which I almost had to do a double take and read, because I think sometimes we do too much. Definitely not enough. Now, it might not be at the information you wanted, but I do know we share information as best we can. So for those that felt, I will be giving them a call just to check that your toddle is working and your access to ISAMs is working, because definitely we are communicating. Things like it said that they hadn't received reports yet or anything, and we are the school within the interventions group that in primary school level have the most reports. So you're going to be getting your next round of learning snapshots. So we definitely have had quite a number of reports given. COVID rules. This was another one that came up. Parents wanted more transparency about the COVID rules. In other words, when a person is tested positive, who that person is. And all I can say again, the school, may not disclose who the person is who's tested positive. I know one parent, for example, wrote, you expect us to tell you whether we've tested positive or not, but you're not doing it. Yes, we have to, because that is what KHDA and DHA have said. If a parent has tested positive or a student has tested positive, the school must know. Even if you choose not to tell us, they will phone us in any case, because it's all linked with your Emirates ID as to where your children attend school. So we still get the notification. If someone in the class has tested positive, I always phone those parents and say, okay, I'm going to be sending out the letter now. It's the standardized letter as given by KHDA and the Dubai Health Authority. It will not mention your child's name, but it's up to you whether you wish to do so. I've only come across, I think, I can't even count on one hand, family members who've chosen not to disclose that their child was tested positive because they felt that the WhatsApp groups might be a little bit too picky. So that's really up to the family. I cannot disclose. The only time I can contact you is if that family has disclosed that you would be a close contact. And then obviously that makes sense. You would know who it is, because then I have to disclose that. But for the greater class-wise, I'm not allowed to do so. Again, I know I'm rephrasing this and saying it over and again, but I seem to be asked the same question over and over again. It's not by choice that we are choosing not to disclose the name. We may not legally disclose the name. Questions that came up about whether teachers are all vaccinated. Yes, I mean, as you are sending out this video today, I'm going for my second dose this morning. Our teachers are vaccinated. There's only a handful that are not vaccinated, because they are pregnant or they are trying to fall pregnant. So as per DHA ruling, they then have to have a PCR test done once a week. So our teachers go every Thursday afternoon. They have their PCR test. It gets submitted usually by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday they allowed on the premises by security with the fact that they've submitted their negative PCR test result. So everyone on campus is covered. But I mean, as fantastic as it is that staff are vaccinated, remember, they are being exposed to the kids who aren't. And it doesn't mean being vaccinated means that you're not going to get COVID. So again, all we keep on asking is, we are doing our side to making sure that we're keeping our kids safe. We just request the same in return. So that's pretty much it about giving some feedback about the NPS survey. I will be phoning some parents that maybe had one or two queries that it was not across the board, or that everyone else felt were the same, just to try and see how best I can explain that. But other than that, just a reminder, it is the holy month of Ramadan. Our security staff who are standing outside directing cars, there are a number of them that are fasting as well. So let's just please not be on edge. No one wants to start their morning or during their day or end their day with people being frustrated. We want to try and help. And again, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. A lesson for all of us, myself included, to take on board. So wishing you all a lovely day and a lovely week, and take care and stay safe. Thank you.